as of today. But when we look at the alternatives of Bibi, which is Bennett, Gideon Sa'ar, Yair Lapid, Gantz, and so on, they all speak the same words. So as far as I'm concerned, we are not going to go with Bibi, and we're probably not going to go with anyone, because I don't see how anyone says, okay, we are stopping the vaccination, the mandatory vaccination in Israel. We are stopping to lie to the public. We stop telling people that the vaccination is FDA approved, which is an absolute lie. It's a fact. It's not FDA approved. We have it documented by the government of the United States, where it says the vaccine is not FDA approved. I can show this to you. I can share screen, go to the website of the United States, of the FDA.gov, and demonstrate those things to you. So we today have a big problem. And how this problem is going to be solved, I don't know. But if Rappeh is going to be in the Knesset, we will have very specific conditions. And unless those conditions are met, we are not going to join any government. Now, if Bibi is going to build a government without Rappeh or Gideon Sa'ar, I don't know, because numbers are very tight. It's all around 60. It's not like they're leading a gap, and either candidate cannot assemble a government as of today. So Rappeh might be a very small party, but it might be able to condition building a government based on our terms. And maybe not, I don't know. But I don't see how it's going to happen with Bibi Netanyahu. Unfortunately, at this moment, nobody is going, everybody is going with the same narrative of Bibi as of now.
Okay. Okay, so next question, thank you for that. What do you find is one of the most important message to say to people in order for them to identify with and vote for Rappeh?
It's very simple. Many people today, they care about many things, about Israel becoming a religious country, and are against Haredim, or against Tel Aviv, or against this, or against that. Every day, people come to me and say, unless you, Rappeh, say that you are doing this and that and this and that, we are not going to vote for you. And I'm okay, don't vote for us. I'm absolutely fine with many people not voting to Rappeh. Rappeh is not going to have 7 million people voting for it. I understand it. If you wake up in the morning and there's one thing that bothering you more than anything else, and that one thing is forced vaccination, that means green passport, it means the purple ID, it means PCR tests, it means all those sanctions that we live in as of today. This is all part of mandatory vaccination. If this what bothers you as of today the most, only Rappeh can give you the solution. So if you care about not vaccinating your children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren, if you are concerned about your children going to school without going through PCR tests, if you're concerned about your freedoms, your civil rights, and this is what you care about, the only party that can give you a solution as of today is Rappeh. Now, if you care about other things, which I respect, okay, Rappeh is not going to give a strict position regarding to them. People ask me, what do you think about the religious parties, or about Haredim, or what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? And I don't want to say I don't care. Okay, I care, but to a very limited degree, because today I care about one thing the most. And this is what I wake up in the morning for, and this is mandatory forced vaccination, which is an experiment, which is not FDA approved, which all our civil rights are taken away of us, from us, because of this big lie. And that's what I wake up in the morning for, and this is what you should vote for Rappeh, if this is what you care for. And if this is not your main concern, it's okay, then perhaps you should consider other parties, and I'm okay with that. So again, Rappeh is all about forced mandatory vaccination and killing the democracy on behalf of forced vaccination.
Thank you. Okay, so just some people that have come on, I'm just going to let people know We are in a Q&A session with Haggai Yedidya, the fourth candidate in the Rappeh Movement Party. And we're asking people who have questions for Haggai to post it into the chat. I'm reading the questions as we go along. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next question I'm seeing, because making sure there's other comments in between. I think it's, what is Lieberman's stance?
Can you repeat that for me, please?
What is Lieberman's stance? Malka, do you want to kind of elaborate on that question about what you're asking? I'm not really clear.
I do not understand.
So much, but I've heard more than one time that Lieberman is against a lot of the lockdowns and that he votes against. So I'm wondering what would be unique about Rappeh in comparison to Lieberman, in case somebody would ask.
Leah, did you hear that? Can you repeat that for me? I did not hear that.
I've heard more than once that Lieberman was against like the lockdowns that he consistently
I think
voted against.
so. Are you asking whether or not Lieberman would like party line up with Rappeh? Is that what you're trying to ask? Because you're,
That was really more of a time
I mean, because he's not.
Okay, so first of all, I'm voting for Rappeh, okay? But really that
Thank you.
was prompted because you said that Rappeh is the only party. So I just want to go with integrity, the only party looking out for these rights. So I just, out of integrity, I want to know, is there perhaps somebody else? And I remember that people were saying that Lieberman was voting against lockdown.
Leah, help me out because I could barely hear.
So the question, yeah. My understanding of the question is that while your statement, Haggai, was that Rappeh is the only party solid for against what's going on. What Malka's asking is, there are other people like Lieberman that have been known to be against it. So, so I guess she's wondering, is that true that there have been others who are against it, like Rappeh? And what?
Okay, I understand the question. I'd be happy to refer to this.
Just to add, and if so, if you could articulate what would be the difference between voting, for example, Lieberman, or voting for Rappeh.
Okay, I got it. Okay, it's very important that all of you understand the difference between making a statement and taking an action. Okay, now we have a government today which made the situation that exists as of today. And this government is responsible for that condition. Now you come and say, but hold on, there's a party and they're in the opposition. Are they part of what's going on? Because they say that they are against it. So perhaps they are not part of it. And the truth is very simple to prove and demonstrate. Okay, I don't have to go very far. Just earlier today at 11:31, there were 17 חברי knesset, okay, in the Knesset. Only 4 were of the opposition, and then they had a law about the electronic handcuff. They had a vote for the electronic handcuff. Only 4 members of the Knesset voted, and all of them voted yes, okay? All the 17 actually, no, 5 said yes, 0 were against it. Now, if you understand, Lieberman and his party, only them by their own could give more than 5 objections. If they did not want electronic handcuffs, this vote would have failed. Okay, now I'm continuing to today. That was at 12:06. There was first, second, and third call. Then there was another vote for the green passport. Actually, that was not today. The vote for green passport, 3 members voted, 1, 2, 3. 3 members, okay, this is 3 members voted yes, 1 objected. This one was not Eli Avidar. This one was Kasif, whoever that is. You need to understand, I can come here and make statements. I'm against everything that's going on. Then you should vote. and vote is your honest truth. This is where you are tested. Did you go to the Knesset and vote against everything that's going on? No, you voted for those things, or you just did not vote at all. It's the same thing. So yes, it's very comfortable for Eli Avidar to say, I'm objecting 1, 2, 3. Then you go and you look at his votes and he's not objecting anything. Let me continue with that for just another moment, another second. Here, Eli Avidar, this is from February 25th. 6 members voted for the Green Island in Eilat, okay? Those 6 members included Eli Avidar, I think. Let's see. Yes, he is included. And that's why this vote passed, the vote of Green Islands. Let's continue. We have here another vote, 3 against 2, voting to expand Green Islands to additional regions. Yes, Eli Avidar was not among the 2 objections. And we can continue and look at the matzah, the agenda of Israel Beitenu. And I have it right here with me. I'd be happy to share it with all of you. It says nothing about democracy, nothing about mandatory vaccinations, nothing about PCR tests, nothing about civil human rights. And then you look and you say, okay, Eli Avidar is quite much is coherent with the agenda. He's in conflict with his statements, but he's coherent with his agenda. So what he says is just bluffing us. Okay, so I can share with you another video here where Eli Avidar says we should have more lockdowns and they should be stricter lockdowns. I have it on video. I'd be happy to share it with Leah or with all of you. If you have like a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group, or you join me to my group on MeWe, and everything is shared over there. So it's very simple. The Knesset, whether it's the opposition or the government, they are all one. Each party today could have prevented many laws from passing, but they did not. They just make acts. And you should say, if you're in the Knesset and those votes passed, you are responsible for them. And I don't care if you're in the opposition or not. If you did not wake up in the morning or you stayed late at night to vote against it, then you are a part of what's going on. And we need new blood in the Knesset. And this is what Rappeh is going to be. Rappeh is going to wake up early in the morning and going to sleep late in the night and vote every vote in order to rescue the Israeli democracy and in order to prevent from this ridiculous thing from proceeding and going on. If we are in the opposition, we will make everything in our power to prevent all those laws from passing. And if we are not in the opposition, that's under the conditions that this is going to stop immediately. Does that answer your question, Malka?
Yes, excellent answer. I'm wondering if other people talk about the fact that Knesset members don't show up to vote and how much that means. I'm assuming they're not showing up, so they'll be able to say, we didn't take part in this. But you make a good point. By not voting, you're taking part in this.
Exactly.
Are other people speaking about this?
Well, I think this is a very important message that we should spread. We should explain to people that, well, Eli Avidar says one thing, but then he votes the opposite way, or he's just neutral. He does not vote. Guess what? There is no neutral here. Either you're against it or you're with it. If you did not take an action, you're with it. This is what it is. Okay, and we have to spread the word. We have to explain people that this is how they speak and then how they act. And we can see contradiction between their statements and their actions. So I think it's very important to spread the word. Now, I'll take even further one last thing about it. There is the vaccine law, okay? And this vaccine law, I have the link for the law. And then you look, what does this law says? And it says mandatory vaccination for children at school. And then you look at who raised this law, who's signed on this law, and this is Eli Avidar. This is not a vote. This is his ideology. This is his proposition for others to vote for. This is the truth behind Eli Avidar and his party, the agenda, the laws, the votes, and then other videos which we have where they say we must have greater lockdowns or restrictions and so on.
Wow. So in other words, this is something new that I'm learning from what you're saying, is that these laws can be passed by just a few votes when there are, how many parties do we have in the Knesset?
We have
We have a lot of
120 members of the Knesset.
and yet a fraction of that, 1% of it, not even, can just vote a law that will affect the entire country. That's pretty frightening.
Exactly.
How does that work? Why don't we need to have a quorum in order to pass laws? I don't understand that. Is that legal?
I'm not sure at all that what's going on is legal. There are regular laws, and regular laws can pass in if you have 1 against 0, 4 against 2, this is a regular law. But then we have the basic civil rights, our freedom of speech, freedom of occupation, freedom of movement, freedom on our body. And those freedoms are not regular laws. Those are our basic civil rights. It's called in Hebrew Chok Yesod. And in order to change Chok Yesod, you need a critical voting of I don't know how many members. It might be over 60, it might be over 90. It depends on the specific condition. Absolutely, one member making a vote cannot take the freedom of speech from us or the freedom of our right on our body. Why does this happen this way? Is this legal? Well, let me tell you something. Democracy is meaningless if the court, Leah, please have a mute.
I know, I'm doing that right now.
Thank you.
Trying to, yeah, I did it.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know it's you, but so the idea behind democracy and behind laws is that there's court, there's a whole legal system, a whole layer to protect and make sure that democracy works as planned. And what we see today is that all layers collapsed. Whether it's the media, whether it's the יועץ משפטי לממשלה, whether it's the court, okay, Bagatz, all of those layers collapsed and none of them is protecting us. So is this legal? Not necessarily. I think not. Can we do something about it? I'm doing my best. If you vote for us, this is the most we can do today, because you can't go with 200,000 shekels to court every month and try to break another law or another vote. It's expensive, it's not realistic. Unfortunately, not enough people are taking a stance in this. Let's vote Rappeh, let's make the change happen, and Rappeh will have the power to act on those things if it's in the Knesset. It will have a limited power, but much greater power than everything that we have today to hold on to.
Okay, thank you. Well, the next question I see might have been answered about what to say to people who say our biggest threat is Iran, and Bibi, who can save us. Well, someone's not muted here. I don't know who that is.
Reber, whoever you are, please mute your microphone.
Oh,
please.
Here we are. Yeah, I found it. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So yeah, so what to say to people, if you talk to them about this is, when they talk about the biggest threat is Iran, and that Bibi is the only answer, that we have to vote for him for that reason. How do we respond to people's, whether it's that argument or other arguments, there are all sorts of people having different reasons. So how do we approach that?
Well, I'll tell you the non-politically correct answer and then the correct one. I don't care if they nuke us, okay? And I don't care if we nuke them. I don't care if the whole world is nuking the whole world. Right now, what's happening with the vaccination, as far as I'm concerned, is the biggest threat on humanity. We hear that those vaccinations might hurt fertility. We hear that those vaccinations might create autoimmune diseases, ADE, mast cell activation. I'm in daily relationship with doctors, professors, pandemiologists, or how it's called, with different kind of scientists. I hear, Michael, please mute yourself. Thank you. I hear from experts on daily basis how potentially dangerous the vaccination is, We don't have information about whether it's effective or whether it's safe. We do know that it's failed on animal experiments. We do know that this vaccination, the vice president of Pfizer said it's called sterilization. Okay, we understand that this is a new technology with a critical potential to damage our species, not just our health, it's our species. If all our children and all our soldiers are going to be vaccinated, guess what? We will not have another generation potentially, possibly, I don't know. So you want to, scare me with a nuke? I don't give a damn about those nukes. This is bullshit. You scare me with sterilizing our next generation, and we will not have other children than autistic ones or no children at all. I don't know. So this is what scares me. Now, the other thing, which is the politically correct answer. Okay, Israel has a very powerful military. And that military is no help when democracy is destroyed. Okay, when the Israeli democracy, the government declared that you and you and you and you and I, all of us, are the public enemy. Okay, those nukes and those airplanes are of no value. Okay, you cannot fight a fake pandemic with F-35. And if you want to tell me that if Bibi is not a prime minister, we lose F-35s, or we lose our nukes, or we lose our relationship with the United States, I don't think Israel can handle Iran on its own anyway. Okay, I know it's not, maybe you think Israel is so powerful that it can handle Iran on its own. I think that the only reason Israel can handle Iran on the Iranian front is if America helps us. And America would help the state of Israel, not the state of Bibi. And if there is a different prime minister, America would still be next to us. Now, Israel does have to take care of Iran in the Syrian front. And you have to understand, Syria is trying to build a military in Syria. Iran is building a military in Syria. So the northern border of Israel must be taken care of by the Israeli military. And that military is not Bibi's military. It's okay. There are other people that can handle a military, the Israeli military, and operate it and give good advice to how to work with it, not just Bibi. Now, I can call the Ramatkal and the General of Staff and say, listen, just keep doing what you did until so far. I mean, it's not that easy, but it's certainly doable. There are different people, the Minister of, Sarah Bitachon, there are different ministers to take care of different things. Actually, the opposite is true. Today, the fact that the prime minister is also the minister of this and that, and this is not democratic. This is not how it's meant to be. This is wrong. I'd be very happy if it's not Bibi the prime minister, but Bibi is just one minister or one position, and any other position is held by other people. And I'd be very happy if those people are experts in their field. Because today, who becomes the Minister of Health? The best doctor? Okay, who becomes the Minister of Education? The best educator? People get positions because of politics, and they get positions which they know nothing about. Is this how it should be? I'd be very happy if someone with understanding of the medical world will be the head of the Minister of Health in Israel. Okay, so I think there are many alternatives to Bibi, and we can handle nukes, and we can handle Iran, and we can handle the northern frontier just as well, regardless of who is the president of Israel or who is the prime minister of Israel. Yes, Leah. Okay, we lost you, Leah. Are you with us? Leah is watching TV. So who's going to ask a question?
Our next question here is about whether or not Rappeh is getting television to make that hospital. Seriously? I'm here. Do you hear me?
You're breaking down, but I hear you.
Did I stop freezing? I had technical. What's going on?
Yeah, your internet connection is kind of breaking.
Okay, let's try this again.
Yes.
Okay, so the next question is, so annoying. Okay, I'm gonna try. I apologize.
All
I
good.
thought I sorted that out. Is Rappeh getting television coverage? And if not, is there something that could be done? Did you hear me?
Is Rappeh getting?
Television coverage.
No, we don't. We absolutely don't get television coverage. Not just that, even Facebook killed our Facebook page and Facebook group, so we cannot spread our honest truth to the people anymore. We've been shut up by the TV, by Facebook, by the Minister of Health. It's ridiculous. We need you guys. You please help us spread the word, because it used to be easier for us to
here
reach
now.
people.
Haggai, can you fight that in court? Do you have any lawyers that can work on that? Is that legal?
No, I think it's not legal. We have an attorney. He's trying to get our Facebook page back, and it takes time. Facebook are very strong. You saw what they did to the president of the United States, to Trump, of course. So we are an underdog as far as fighting Facebook, but we do what we can. We try to take legal actions against them. As you understand, court today is not on our side, and everything is working slower than we wish.
Can that be used to your advantage? If you're the underdog, is that something that can be used as, can it somehow be played and published that you're fighting the system and that you're the underdog?
Well, you can only publish that if you have how to talk to people. Help us, please. We need you, because you are not blocked in Facebook. We need you to spread the truth. We need you. I really want to explain something. Many people believe in vaccination. They believe that the government is saving our souls and lives and so on. And when you speak with someone and he says, I believe in vaccination, I believe my government, I don't think there's any chance in the world they would vote for Rappeh. I would not try to convince anyone of that position to vote for Rappeh. When you speak with someone and that person says, I don't like mandatory vaccination, I don't like they force me to be vaccinated through sanctions, then you should go to that person and say, listen, there's a party, it's called Rappeh, we should vote for them, this is what they're about. Here, go to their website, go to their MeWe page, go check it out. This is their agenda. We can share with you the recording of Haggai. Talk to those people. Help people that are on our side understand we exist. Today, our biggest challenge is the awareness. We just need people to know that we exist. So don't go and argue with people that think that we are insane. This would not bring voters for Rappeh. Try to find those people who are very similar to us in their beliefs. Talk to those people, share with them that Rappeh exists, have them come to vote for Rappeh. Some people are in depression. Some people they don't wake up from their couch. Some people lost their trust in democracy, in the Israeli system. I understand where this is coming from, but if we wish to make a change, then depression is not going to make the change. Not voting will not make the change. The change would come by spreading the word, working with people, sharing with them that we exist and voting for us. By motivating people for doing that, we will pass the votes and be part of the Knesset. So please help us with that, because Facebook is not going to help us. You are.
Can we trust the elections, that the elections themselves are going to be honest?
Wait, Mayor, before you turn to another question, and please, I know your question's there, but I wanna add to what Haggai was saying right now before we jump to something else. With the support that we need to give Rappeh because they're being blocked. I do know someone. He's not capable of making it happen, but he is willing to guide people how to really bomb social media, really get it out there about Rappeh. And if a number of us are doing that, And I'm trying to coordinate with this person, that there are people that work with him to really create even a script, a direction. So if some of us are not as savvy on social media, we can at least have a set of directions to know what to do and how to make it happen where best we can. So we just get it out there, because by us doing this individually and us all coming together, we get Rappeh out there, and they'll be and just really, as the term they use, just bomb, just do the bombing. This is the term that they use to get it out there with the marketing. This, and I know someone who's been sending me messages individually about it, and I'm trying to get work. So if you really want to make this happen, please contact me, because I want to get a team of people together so you can help the rest of us who need guidance how to make it happen. So please, put that down your note, get in touch with me, because we know, I've been aware that Rappeh has been blackballed out of media completely, even the news, even the fake news, a propaganda machine, all of it. So please, this is really important, because with the time we have left, we really got to get the message out, and social media is a very powerful medium. So let's use it. Okay. So be in touch with me, please. Okay. So I know the next question that came up was about, also the people have come on, please mute your lines, please, because we hear background noise, it's kind of disruptive to what we're doing. Thank you so much. Just happy you're all here. It's I'm seeing the numbers growing. It's really great that you're here. Because this is really, I keep telling people, Haggai, this is what we're doing here is not even political. What we're doing is pikuach nefesh, mamash pikuach nefesh.
Exactly.
That's what this is. It's nothing short of that. You can't call it anything else at this point. So another question was a concern, because, and given what we've had with these past elections, about the difficulties of forming a coalition. How we, and it's a good question, because we have this endless cycle of, we've already had 3 re-elections or whatever, 3 elections, and still it's just been this. And then we end up having COVID, so things kind of broke down, so nothing got revisited about that. But how do we get out of how do we get out of that cycle? If a coalition can't be formed, I mean, the people voted. I mean, I'm going to add to this question, because in my mind, coming from the United States, the people voted, their voice is heard, and what the people voted for should be what manifests. And the people in the Knesset really ought to get off their problems and make it happen, because they're supposed to reflect our will, not their political, butting heads and stuff. So how does that get addressed? Where we're, because that's also what, billions of shekels wasted to have to keep election and again. Like how does this cycle end? Because we can't seem to get past that. And so that I just getting to that question about how does that get dealt with?
Leah, the truth, I don't care. I don't care if the cycle does not end. I care about stopping forced vaccination. And those vaccinations cost our country like a zillion voting sessions. The vaccines are expensive, the PCR tests are expensive, and most of all those people that lost their jobs, this is what's most expensive. And if people lost their jobs, then people do not pay taxes, and that's expensive. Okay, the government is losing money. I'm very happy we go for elections, because people did not vote for the reality we have today. People did not vote for what's going on. Last votes were a whole year from now, a year ago, where none of this existed. Okay, and nobody voted for this. Now I understand there is a propaganda, and many people, millions of people, they believe that this is the right thing to do, and they'll keep voting for the same thing. I understand. Okay, I'm very happy we have votes today, because this is the opportunity to make a change. And I'd be very happy if they don't make the next government and we go for another cycle of voting in 6 months from now, because then Rappeh will be even bigger, and then more people will vote against the destruction of the democracy, and then we could really stop this. So I don't care about how many voting cycles we have. I care about democracy. I care about human rights, about civil rights, about basic civil rights. And if we need to go 3 million voting cycles again and again and again and again, I'm fine with that. I'm not entering the government unless our terms are met. I don't care if they make me a minister and give me a charade car and a personal driver. I don't care about the benefits and about the pension. This is not what drives me. I'm not trying to form a government in Israel. I'm trying to protect us against taking our civil rights and putting in our body vaccination, which is experimental and dangerous. So this is for me what's important, and I'm not in the position or my goal is not to stop the cycle of breaking governments. Alan, please mute yourself. Alan, thank you. Alan, I'm sorry. So this answers your question?
Well, Mayor, I mean, it answers the question as best. Obviously, you're right. Whether the elections happen, I mean, it is what it is. But the point is this is our focus. This really is our primary focus here in Rappeh. Understood. So, there were a couple of questions about our numbers, getting our numbers up. I mean, the thing is, I mean, look, what we're doing here, we have to get out the street. I'm going to answer that question because as activists, they're asking about how to get to the 150,000 threshold. So Rappeh gets in. Well, that's what we're here to do. We're here to make that happen. That's what Penn needs us for. Putting out those flyers, getting out those posters, doing demonstrations. I mean, I want to schedule a demonstration by the Sfat Area, because when Bibi came, a couple of days ago, I did, Ilana Rachel said, I didn't know Bibi was coming. And I told Ilana, and she says, you have to do an impromptu protest. I'm like, okay. And so and it did happen, but, the thing was no one could enter the building unless they had this green passport. No one can enter the building to hear Bibi speak. We were outside and we had our signs. And please mute your. No, I'll do it faster for myself. So the thing is it's up to us. It really is up to us. If we really believe this is pikuach nefesh, what do you do when it's pikuach nefesh? You drop everything and you get this done. Look, I work on a most part to full-time basis. I have a job, thank God. But you know something? I know this is pikuach nefesh, and I lost a couple of days of my work, and put it short because that work will mean nothing if I'm subjected to this coercion, this insanity, this tyranny. And this is just too important. So if you want those numbers up, get on the streets. Start talking to people. If you want support how to do it, we'll have another Zoom meeting how to do it. But we need to get it happening. Because the movement itself, these candidates are needing us. They can't do it themselves. They need us here. And we have resources. We got people with a little bit of money to buy the flyers. The flyers are being, not the flyers we're getting, but there are other things we can keep doing. And that's really important. And that's how we get the numbers up. Because someone in Pardes Chana is saying that there's no coverage there. There are no banners on the street. So we got it, so Shlomo Gordon has been doing, it seems, a really phenomenal job. He's getting in touch and getting everybody from all around the country to coordinate this. And he really helped me to get this done because I didn't know whether this was getting done. He brought Guy on. I mean, he got this done really quickly. And that, like I said before, if something's really worthwhile, there may be breakdowns, but let me tell you, I've been seeing how things kind of been gelling, including this, even the protests. We got things out. So, it's just a matter of getting it out there. And really, that's what it is, because I stepped up just to be a flyer point person, but everyone can do this and have these conversations, and we could just check in and support each other. So that's how we get our numbers up. So I was going to have this question in my mind because I never heard this term before. You mentioned purple ID. We know about the green passport, but I never heard about the purple ID. Can you explain what that is?
Tav Sagol. There's the green passport, Darkon Yarok, and there's Tav Sagol. I think it's similar. I'm not exactly into those details, but the idea is that today, if you don't have Tav Sagol, you cannot go to the gym, to the swimming pool, to the theater, stuff like this.
Oh, because I thought that was what the passport was for. And this is different.
Maybe it's semantics. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay. So, all right. So now, some people feel because of what's going on, some people feel like, better not to vote at all. And some of us have been talking to people to emphasize that, no, you need to have your voice. The voting is the one opportunity you have. Why? So they can explain to others why those who say, I'm not going to bother voting, why even voting for a pair is even more impactful than not voting at all.
Well, people ask me sometimes, maybe Rappeh will not pass the threshold and will not make it to the Knesset, and then I lose my vote. And I think, yes, you'd rather lose your vote than vote for one of those, I'm sorry, um, options, alternatives that want to force vaccination to your body. I really think there's nobody to vote for. Now, I want to tell you something. I did not have a dream to become a politician. It's never been my dream. I'm a politician today because I want to save my soul, myself, my body, your body, my country, my people. Okay, this is ideology, and I lose a lot of money for this, a lot of time with my family, time doing sports, doesn't matter. Okay, I lose a lot of resources to do what I do today. If I had someone to vote for, I'd rather vote for them and go back to life and do other things. Trust me. There's nobody to vote for today. No other party says that everything that's going on today is wrong. All of those parties, you saw, they vote either for those anti-democratic laws or they just don't care to vote even. Okay, but nobody is really doing anything for us. If Rappeh is not making it to the Knesset, then we should all be concerned. We should all start to worry. We should not worry what happens if my vote goes to the toilet because there's nobody else to vote for. We should worry what happens if I don't vote for Rappeh and because of that Rappeh is not in the Knesset. Who is going to take care of us? Who is going to take care of our democracy? I think this is what we should focus on. I will say, though, that Rappeh is working with large groups of voters, and those large groups should help us pass the threshold and make it to the Knesset. Those groups include people that worked or been patients of or read books by Dr. Aryeh Avni. Aryeh wrote 8 books. Aryeh did 12,000 colonoscopia treatments. He did 30,000 other treatments. He's treating many thousands of people in his private clinic in homeopathic ways. And those people, they knock my door on an everyday basis and they say, Aryeh changed my life. Our family is alive today because Aryeh treated us where the medical system failed. Now, just that group is worth a few tens of thousands of votes. And then we look at like another group, and those group has been hit by the bad vaccination. It's called Scivivac. This vaccine was given to 500,000 children, kids in Israel from the age of 0 until a few years old. And they received a few dosages. And tens of thousands of those kids are sick with diseases for their lifetime. Some of them are autistic. Some of them are with other diseases. Okay, just this group has tens of thousands of voters that are going to vote Rappeh. Bottom line, okay, making this short, there are over 1 million people in Israel that are against forced vaccination. Now, unfortunately, not all those 1 million people know that Rappeh even exists. And this is what we should do. We should find those people and share with them the news. Rappeh exists. You can vote for someone that is on your side for the first time, okay? Because right now there is no one else to vote for. But do we have the chance to pass the threshold of 150,000 votes? Yes, we do. Is it realistic? Yes. Is it likely to happen? If we all wake up in the morning to vote for Rappeh, it can happen. And we should do our best to make it happen. It's possible. It's not unrealistic. It's maybe, I don't know to tell you what are the chances. Is it 50%, 60, 80, 27? I'm unsure about that myself. Okay, but I can tell you that all the skarim are bullshit. They are lies. It's not that they're not accurate. They are manipulation. They are intention. Even if those, how do you say seker in English? Help me out. I feel stupid saying skarim. Surveys. Is it survey?
Or polls.
Yeah, survey.
Polls.
Polls. Thank you. So if they, even if they think Rappeh is going to have 6 mandates, they'll tell you they will not even mention that we have a 0. Okay, because they try to work on psychology and they use psychological techniques, psychological warfare, okay, in order to manipulate people. Look how good they did with psychological warfare as far as injecting the vaccination into people. Okay, and this is part of the idea of making everybody think Rappeh has no chance. And that's not true. And again, we work with specific large groups of people and we have input from those groups. So I believe there's a good chance Rappeh is going to be in the Knesset, and that's what we all wake up in the morning for. We are tens of people. There are tens of us that work full-time job for no money for Rappeh. Okay, there are people that are risking everything they have to a degree for Rappeh. So there is a chance we're going to make it. And whether it's 80% or 60%, I don't want to get into it. I just think we should all do the best that this chance really comes true and this happens. Please help us. Please don't just vote Rappeh. Please share this interview, share other interviews of mine. I have an interview with a political party in Australia. Does any one of you know who Del Bigtree is? Do you know who Del Bigtree is?
Yes.
Yes, raise your hand. Come on, I want to see hands, please.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to have an interview with Del Bigtree soon. Okay, this is good stuff. Okay, when we have this interview, okay, I hope Leah or I could share with you the link, and then you can, share this interview, make other people acknowledge, watch this interview, help us spread the word. And if you do your job and I do mine and my other party members, we all do ours, we will be in the Knesset to keep our interest and to bring democracy back to our lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Question, can I ask? Sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a list of questions, but the thing is, I also want to pay attention to the time. I just
Look at Sarah, how passionate she is. Let's give her a chance to ask a question. Is it okay with you?
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Earned
I'm
it, Sarah.
fine.
Oh, thank you so much. So to my understanding, the Rappeh Party currently, I think it would attract people who have been harmed by the medical care that we have, by experimental vaccinations. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
And probably also libertarians. I'm wondering if there are any other groups that we could potentially
Yes.
attract, and what talking points we could use when trying to when trying to recruit them. If there would be any other points that any other demographics or any other people of a different persuasion that we could try to attract.
Okay, that's a great question. I actually have a list of in Excel file of different Facebook groups that we're trying to tap and find a way to engage with those groups, because we think that those groups are potentially with Rappeh. And unfortunately, not always who we believe should be on our side appear. Eventually, we don't always find out they're on our side, but many times they are. Okay, so what you mentioned is correct. Rappeh is naturally about people that's been offended by the medical system in Israel. But today, Rappeh is about anyone which is against forced vaccination, and that is a much larger group. Now, this group, unfortunately, is not characterized in a certain way that we can say, oh, those are those people, all of them are on our side. It's like, I speak with families, and the mom is with Rappeh, but the dad is against Rappeh, and the children are against Rappeh or with Rappeh. It's like even inside the family, people have whole different opinions, and this is a great challenge because it's like we have to go in a random manner and just find people that are kind of with us. It's a challenge. What we try to do is to just tap large groups of natural medicine, of people who work with massage, with herbs, like shops like Nitzata Duvdevan, Teva Castel, which are much about natural medicine, natural like supplements and so on. I have such a list again. I should look at this list and maybe share it with you guys. But generally speaking, it's really like in many ways it's random just finding those people. In a way, it's like, you know, I'm an Israeli, I've been to the United States, and Israelis always say we can recognize one another. I'm not sure it's really true, but there is some kind of sense that you can find people which are kind of your own. I think we need to develop a sense here to just detect those people that don't wear a mask, that those people that kind of write about vitamin C in Facebook and not just about you know, that the regular narrative. Like find those people from their quotes, posts, likes, from how they kind of don't wear the mask or don't really care for all those sanctions, and this way kind of have a sensor to those people. I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you right now. I will run this question by my colleagues and I will try to bring a better answer if we have something like that. Let me write it down for just a second, because I wish to give a better answer for this, really. Just a second.
And since you have a list on Facebook, I'm sorry, Sarani, you know, then if you send that to me, that list, because like I said, I have somebody that wants to help with us getting there in social media, then, you know, we can coordinate something, you know, I know with the people up here and yeah, and distribute that list in the Telegram overall movement group, you know, get people on board because a lot of people are on social media.
Well, I'd love us to have.
Let's see. What's that?
I'd love us to have a Telegram group or a WhatsApp group. And if we have such a group, then I'd bring my assistant, and we both, my assistant and I, bring materials to your request, like where to look for groups that we can tap on, or other things like about Eli Avidar and Israel Beitenu. So I could, of course, share with you information either through Leah or through a group if we have a group, and I'd be happy to join that group and bring my my assistant so she can help me share with you information that we have and so on.
Yeah, I can send you the Telegram groups that we have.
Okay. Please. אורית, לכבות את המיקרופון, אורית. לסגור את המיקרופון, בבקשה.
Okay.
תודה.
What,
Good.
can I ask,
There we
just
go.
ask, what was that platform? What was the platform you mentioned? Me something where we can find
Miwi. Yes.
me?
Miwi is like Facebook, but Miwi does not censor us. So we right now, like I had an interview in English with Michael Bloom the other day. I uploaded it to YouTube. We got 7 likes and the video was blocked. It was perhaps online for less than a whole day, not even 1 day. Miwi does not censor us at the moment, and I'd be happy to share with you the link to our Miwi group. The group is a discussion group, so you can all write posts in the group. And then we have a Miwi page where the party, and mainly where the party posts all those videos and news and so on. So if you follow our Miwi group, you'd see all our interviews and so on. And the group is a discussion group. Miwi does not censor our information, and opening an account with Miwi is free. You don't have to pay for it. It's just like Facebook, but it does not track you. It does not follow you. It does not sell information about you to anyone. And it, of course, have a mobile app and a Windows application, like a website, not a Windows application, a website. So you can either use Chrome or use your mobile application for MIUI.
Okay, there's a lot of comments. I'm trying to get to actual questions, to put up, and that's everyone's has a lot to say. This is a very charged, very emotional situation. Everyone's really, having to deal with this, such a big piece of how our lives are being altered and all the impact of it. I'm trying to find questions. Someone is actually asking the question. They're concerned about the voter slips, like how we can be sure that the votes, the elections, I guess, isn't going to be rigged, or any other issues. I guess this is, a big thing that speaks to that. And given those of us Americans seeing what happened in the States, it's a concern, like what's going to be going on here, and how does it work to be assured that there are measures in place that'll ensure as much of an honest election as possible.
We have a group of people that will be in the Kalpiyot on the day of the election, help kind of count the votes in some places, or help supervise and make sure everything happens properly. It's not going to assure us anything. And what I believe is that if Rappeh wants to get 150,000 votes, it probably needs to receive 250,000 votes. So I don't think it's going to be an accurate count. I've been warned about with this regard by other parties. And I understand that we should take any action we can to supervise and make sure that the votes are accurate. And at the same time, we should understand it's not going to happen this way, and we should aim not at getting the minimal number of votes to pass the threshold, but rather aim at much more than that. So even if they take 50,000 votes from us, we are still in the Knesset.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Someone just clarified that the purple tag is the criteria for businesses to become kosher, according to Misrata Bariut. That's what the purple tag is. So it sounds like the purple tag is for the businesses and the green passport are for individuals.
Okay.
That's what someone just explained.
Thank you.
Saw that. Let's see. Okay, trying to find more questions. Someone's asking about how we have open conversations with people to approach them, like asking, are you for mandatory vaccinations? Actually, I happen to like Shlomo Gordon's approach about see how he did it, just to say, remember how we used to be free, and give a flyer and just say, yeah, well, we can get back to that if you want to, and give a Rappeh flyer. And then open that kind of dialogue as far as approaching people, because whether or not they're, because it's not about just mandatory vaccinations. It's really about free choice and your medical choices and privacy, that's not being violated. So I wouldn't have that conversation with people about whether it's about mandatory vaccination, because that's just I tell people, do not start the conversation with inflammatory topics. Do not use the words Holocaust and apartheid. That's not going to help the dialogue any more than debating the science or the legality of it. Most of us are not lawyers. Most of us are not scientists. We're just getting the same information. Everyone has an opinion, and we have a free market of opinion, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. The issue here is the fact that one group that has one opinion is getting squashed. We're getting, totally overwhelmed and pushed to the side, and being into class of citizens. So, the whole point of our dialogue is don't debate, please. That's not going to help Rappeh to debate about these points. It's really about what we all benefit from that Rappeh is offering. That's the best approach to go with. Otherwise you're just going to get everyone's thinking more stressed. We're all stressed about this. They're stressed about it. The ones who are vaccinated, while they feel like there might be peace of mind, but they're stressed like we're stressed. It's a very difficult time. And the only way, because it's not about us against them. It's like, as Haggai said a bit, and I've heard this from Tamir Turgle, this government is shaking us up like red and black ants that fight with each other, but someone else is shaking the jar. And it's creating this divisiveness. So it's better that we don't feed into that, and we don't get into that piece about talking about the vaccine and all that, and just really remember we are all in this together. And what Rappeh is doing is going to help everybody, because even those who are vaccinated, I mean, I had it in my video from the protest, it doesn't matter. If you're vaccinated, you still want freedom of choice. You don't want to be forced for the rest of your life that you have to do what the government's going to tell you to do, even if you did decide to take the vaccination. You don't want that to be the reality forevermore. And people are this is going to wear people out over years, and nobody wants that. So it's not about us versus them. So I just saw that question, so I just felt I needed to answer that.
Okay.
So I made the judgment call.
Leah?
Yes, Maka.
Yeah, I'm the one that asked that question. Maybe I didn't explain it properly. What I'm saying, I also thought initially, we don't need to talk about vaccinations. But I asked that question in light of what Haggai said. Haggai said that our target market for potential voters is within people that are against vaccination. So I'm thinking to myself, we have 2 weeks left, limited manpower. Perhaps the right approach is to weed out who's less likely to listen to us and focus on who will listen to us. I wasn't at all thinking about fighting or arguing or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
So I'd be curious
Okay,
to know
well,
what Haggai thinks in response to that.
Well, yes, when I try to convince people, I don't convince them. I usually find people that are 80% aligned with my ideas, and I'm just kind of closing the deal. I don't take someone which is very far from my conception and perception on things. Now, it is true, Leah, that people want a choice. I actually find many people today saying they should force vaccination, and because you're not vaccinated, you are my enemy. And because you did not get vaccination, I cannot go on Passover with my family for a trip, or because you did not vaccinate yourself, I cannot go out of my home and I have to be in quarantine. Now, this is not just something that happens. This is something that has been orchestrated by the government. Okay, they made sure to split and divide us and set us against one another. The government intentionally creates separation between people. And the idea is that as separated people, we're very weak. And as a group of people, we have power. So again, what you said makes sense. But if I try to look in my experience, I can see how time after time, people look at me as their enemy. Now, I don't look at them as my enemy. I say, oh, wow, those people have been brainwashed. Those people do not understand reality as I do. And they might think that the vaccination is right for them and I should take it. And the fact that they're so aggressive and so in stress about it is because we are all victims of this extreme brainwash. They are victims just as much as I'm a victim. Okay, everyone takes it in a different way. Now, if they say, if someone comes to kill you, you should kill them first. So I'm not saying if someone looks at me as their enemy, I should hug them or legitimize them. I should, in one hand, I look at them as victims, and the other hand, right now they're my enemies in many ways, and it's a very, very sensitive balance between how to work in that situation. But the bottom line again is, if I see people that are aligned with my train of thought in 80%, I'll tell them, guys, just, you should know there's such a party, Rappeh. Maybe you know about them, maybe you don't. Maybe you should tell about it to your parents, to your friends, to your people in your class. Spread the word. I would not spend time on convincing someone that thinks vaccination is good. Most of those people would not wake up in the morning and say vaccination, the choice of being vaccinated would probably not be the most critical thing in their life as of today. It is for you and it is for me. But if you wish to be vaccinated anyway, you'd say, maybe the government is not treating this right, but overall it's the right direction probably. And then Rappeh would not be what you go after or go with.
Okay.
But
Thank
again,
you.
everyone has their own way. So what works for you, I'm with you. You should not do what works for me. You should do what works for you. So everybody should find their own voice, their own way of doing things, what works the best with their character, and take that approach with their style and so on.
Which is what we've been doing until this insanity came about, because that's exactly what we've been doing all along before now. And that's what's been taken away from many of us who don't just want to go along with the crowd. Okay, I think I got to the end of the questions, unless I guess I'm trying to. Was there any? I think that was it. But I appreciate you coming here. Thank you for meeting with us.
Do you wish to let Stefan ask a question? Look at him. He's like he's
okay. Go
out
ahead.
almost
Waiting.
without...
Interrupt in the middle of the other questions, but first of all, yeah, both my wife and I, you got 2 votes right here, so we're definitely going with you. Question is, and this is from my understanding from what you said, that there is a big hope that Rappeh does get in during the elections. If and I'm saying a big if it doesn't, because I'm really believing they will get in by faith kind of thing. But if they don't, will Rappeh continue fighting and continue putting out the word until there is, I don't know, another breakdown of government, another election, and another shot at that? Will Rappeh just continue fighting, which is my hope that would be yes. So what's the answer to that?
Well, it's very easy for me to give you a hero answer. Yes, we'll do anything we can, no matter what. But it's very difficult, if you look at my life right now, and I'm talking to you now as a person rather than as a party, I certainly cannot do this, live the life that I live right now for the long term, especially if I make no living, okay? Right now, I don't see my family. Right now, I don't make a living. Right now, I don't care of anything. I don't take care of anything that I should take care of. And I leave my commitments behind. And I'm saying, okay, there is a race and it's a short-term race. It's just until the 23rd that I have to push everything aside and live like a zombie, committed only to one thing. Now, obviously, if we make it to the Knesset, I'll have to keep fighting and I will have longer days and shorter nights, and I'm fine with it. But then you challenge me and you say, what happens if you don't? I'll look at this. I'll share with you one thing. Even if Rappeh does not make it to the Knesset, it does, if it gets a certain amount of votes, it does receive certain amount of taxpayers' money. So we will have a budget. Right now, Rappeh works with the budget of Aryeh. Okay, Aryeh takes money from his own pocket. I take money from my own pocket, and there is donations. Okay, if we cross a certain degree, certain number of votes, we get about 1.5 million shekels. That's much more than we have today. And I'd be happy to leverage that amount of money for a social campaign, to spread the word among other greater groups of people and so on. So I'd have more power or more financial abilities if Rappeh does not make it to the Knesset, but it crosses another threshold of 0.7% of the votes or something like that. So it's not like just black and white. There are different scenarios. There are different options. I could even think, if Rappeh does not make it to the Knesset, am I going to stay in Israel? Maybe I'd rather just run away to another country. there are so many options. Now, I'm talking to you guys right now as a human being and not as a politician, because as a politician, I should say, I'm with you in the water, in the fire, no matter what, we're going to keep going for it, and so on. I don't know what life will be in Israel in 5 months from now. Okay, I really don't know where things are heading. I hope that we will be in the Knesset, and possibly if we don't, then the next elections will be in 2021,
You just
and we will
sent
be
a message
stronger,
to me. Check it.
and we will be stronger on those next votes in later 2021. Who knows? So there are so many scenarios, so many options. I can assure you one thing. Rappeh started not a political group. Rappeh started a movement. And that movement is going to keep and be alive for a long time. Rappeh is not just something that you vote for. Rappeh is going to put people together. Rappeh is about giving us hope. Rappeh is about unifying people, uniting people, putting us together rather than dividing us. Okay, and the whole idea of Rappeh, I hope and believe, will keep live long after. And just like I mentioned earlier, I'm in relationship with the equivalent party of Rappeh in Australia. I'm in relationship with other groups in the United States, and Del Big Tree, for instance, is one angle I'm working together with. So what we start now is growing, and in a way, how they say, you've just woken up the giant, the lion. Okay, I hope and I believe this is what it is about. We've just woken up the lion, telling us that our children or grandchildren will be in a vaccination experiment. This is kind of pushing us with our backs to the wall. This is waking up the lion from his sleep. So I hope more and more people will wake up. And I think we started something great. I love this session. I love being with you guys. It's really waking me inside. It's really inspiring me to see you guys here. And it makes me believe that we're doing the right thing, and we have a great chance at being successful at what we're doing. So thank you so much, guys, for being here, for asking those questions, for listening to me. I look forward for being in touch later on as a Haver Knesset, of course.
Bezrat Hashem. Thank you so much, Haggai. Thank you, Mamash. Thank you for all you're doing.
תודה רבה.
Thank you very much, guys.
תודה רבה.
Okay, so I actually would like to discuss with people, just because there were some questions here that I think kind of are more for us as far as we are coordinating things. I want to address some of this. I know that some people are talking about flyers, paraphernalia, so I want to have that conversation. So I just want to ask that if you have something, when you want to say what you want to say, please, keep your microphone muted until, you need to really respond, just so, background noise to disrupt dialogue. Because we have less than 2 weeks left, and we're, for the most part, we're in the north. So there's a matter of, people needing flyers. One thing I found out from Shlomo Gordon is that there's going to be another round of flyers coming in another week. And I believe he said 3 boxes are going to come to me, because I've been actually coordinating for the north, not just for Svat. So, but I still have some flyers. I'm not clear how much right now. I have to get to the person who's overseeing them. But, please, take what flyers there are. I'm also under the impression that there's somebody in Fula also that has flyers. I have to get back to that person and see if you need. I'm gonna put my phone number into the group for everybody, and I have a lot to do, a lot to scramble. I appreciate Haggai coming on, because I hope everyone else felt that there's a lot more information than we had before. There was a lot of clarity about certain things. It was good to get a sense of where the party is holding, where things are holding, and which is good. Now the thing is that all I know that is available are flyers, and those are paid for. They do it in such a bulk, it doesn't make sense to do it locally. But they also, I'd seen in one of the groups, there was posters that also could be made, but generally it just may have to be something you do locally, but you don't have to buy in the same kind of bulk. It's like they have flyers.
So Tamar, excuse me for interrupting, sorry. Tamar wrote in the group chat, I don't know if you caught it, that she can meet someone down in the Merkaz area to bring more flyers up to Sfat. So if she has a lot of extras and someone can bring them up, then do we want to get those? Do you want me to help coordinate someone who might be down there who could come up today?
That'd be great, that'd be great, because, when
Tamar, are you still on the call? Tamar, are you still on the call?
She's muted. Tamar, you're muted.
Okay, can I get her phone number? Can she and I connect? Maybe I can get someone to pick those up tonight.
I think Tamar posted her phone number in the group. Hold on a second.
No, she posted the email, and that won't be valid. She posted the email. Oh, thanks. Okay, got it. See ya. I got it. I'll pass it along if I know someone is down there tonight. I'm just not exactly sure who he is. So I know other people don't need to hear this part of the chat. I'll get on with that. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you, Yaha. Thank you so much. Yeah, there we go. This is what we need to do. Whatever you can do, even if it's a little bit, whatever little bit we can do, every bit counts. It's accumulative. Even the smallest bit, you'd be surprised what comes back. Because to be honest, like I said, like Haggai said, I've never done stuff like this before, but I have to tell you the Hashgacha Parti about what's been possible so far. So so now let's see. So as far as memes, Green was talking about memes for social media. So the social media, well, I have the PDFs for the different posters, and you could be using the flyers and the posters, that PDF. So again, if people are interested in the social media piece, you have my number, and so you can WhatsApp me, call me. WhatsApp will probably be easiest because I'm tracking a lot. So just WhatsApp me, but and we'll get back to you. Within the hour or so, as I'm tracking things. And then we just, and we just keep moving forward. I'm glad I got a candidate on here on the Zoom. I've been in the process of trying to see if we can even have Dr. Avi actually come up to Sfat, but we would need a location, and we'd also need to have at least between 300 to 400 people who would show up from the north. That would, and whether that's going to happen or not, space yet. I've been, people holding for that, and as Hashem's will, to see, because that would be, be really a big win, just to, because there's our big piece, even, and like I said, I like the word, it's really very nice and it's gentle. Like, remember we used to be free. Well, here we can get back to those days and give them a flyer. And if they want to talk to you, great. If they don't want to talk to you, but sometimes even planting a seed, even the people that are, the people that are hostile or upset or fearful, whatever, my take is that they're just fearful, and it's just, they just don't know what to handle it otherwise. And, you never know, you might plant a seed with someone that they took that step, and sometimes they might even be more angry with themselves and wish they didn't. Sometimes when you're the person who's strong enough to take a stand and not do it, and other people kind of caved in, I'm sure there are people there psychologically, because of their insecurities, wish they hadn't. So I don't think it's a waste, to just like, hey, you want your freedom back, let's go back to how it was. Even if they were vaccinated and may even seem hostile. It's chaval. It really is chaval, because these are our brothers and our sisters. This is, we're family here. So, we just got to remember, we're not the enemies. It's like Haggai said, it's the propaganda machine and the government trying to make us feel like we are, and it's a lie. It's a pure deception. So okay, so SG is driving down to Netanya. if anyone needs something done, flyers picked up. Esty, you still here? I think Esty left. I don't see her. Okay, I'm trying to see what's the white.
Does somebody have a way to
rose.
get Esty in touch with Tamar? Because Tamar, if you don't want to do it tonight, that's fine, but Asher's down there now. Esty and Tamar, if you guys can get that together and get flyers up here, that would be super. Anybody have a way to reach Esty? I don't see her in the chat anymore.
No, she's not. I actually do, so I'm gonna have to, actually, I want to stop the recording because we don't need to. We just stop the recording at this point.
I have a